Hello, true crime enthusiast. Welcome back to an all new extra report. And today we're going to be talking about Gypsy Rose's public spiral and in comparison to narcissistic injury. Now, please note that I am not a doctor, I am not a psychologist. This video is solely based on my experiences, my knowledge, my perception, and my opinion. So, with that being said, if this sounds interesting, please stay tuned. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is spiraling out of control. Ever since she was released from prison and she decided to sell her story to Hollywood and become this social media persona and have a reality TV show, one thing for sure and two things is for certain. Now, whether you are on a gypsy train, aka Gypsy Stan, or you're on the defense of Gypsy's carefully curated narrative, we're all watching the same thing. With Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup, her reality TV show, and her social media persona, we have witnessed Gypsy Rose make so many horrible, impulsive decisions. Whether it was getting married while she was incarcerated, to being released and being married only for like a month and a half before having an extramarital affair with her ex-fiance, not before asking for a dog, pleading for a dog from her then husband, to then abandoning the dog and her husband for her boyfriend, but not before saying that she wasn't ready to have a baby. So she went ahead and got a morning after pill. And then 1 month later, after leaving her ex-husband, go ahead and winds up pregnant. That's more than I can say that I've done in like 3 years that she's managed to do, all within a 12-month time frame. Now, as we all have been watching this, a lot of us can't help but wonder the behaviors that she's exhibiting reflects that of someone with narcissistic tendencies or narcissistic characteristics. Now, I am not a doctor, therefore I cannot clinically diagnose her. But from what I am witnessing and what the world is witnessing, unless you're a gyp stand on a gyp train, she is exhibiting sociopath and narcissistic tendencies. And it's plastered for the public to see. Now, although Gypsy Rose has narcissistic personality disorder tendencies, people with narcissistic personality disorder tend to hide their true self. And this term is called the mask of narcissism. Now, the mask of narcissism consists of public charm, a need for admiration, and hiding insecurities. When it comes to public charm, narcissists can highly be charismatic and charming in public settings, projecting an image of confidence, generosity, and even helpfulness. When it comes to needing for admiration, this behavior is often driven by a deep need for admiration and validation from others because they want to be seen as superior and impressive. But then they also hide their insecurities. So behind this facade, narcissists often harbor deep insecurities, shame, and a fragile self-esteem. The charm and grandiosity act as a defense mechanism to protect these vulnerabilities. Now, in summary, while individuals with narcissistic personality disorder, they can be very skilled at hiding their true selves, especially in public, keep in mind that their underlying insecurities and manipulative tendencies often eventually become apparent, especially when you have your life plastered on social media and on a televised reality show. In other words, if you decide to live your life in the public eye with narcissistic tendencies, or NPD, your mask is bound to slip off. And there is no doubt about the fact that Gypsy Rose has been spiraling. And it's been within the past 2 weeks that shit has been hitting the fan. So most of you already know that Gypsy Rose has been going back and forth with her ex-husband, Ryan. Tick for tack, messy, exposing of medical information from Gypsy. You know, just her being disgusting, vindictive, and treating Ryan horribly. And it's gotten even worse. I don't know how much Ken knew of what's been going on, but it's been clear that Ryan exposed that Gypsy contacted Ryan back in January. But what we didn't know was that Lifetime and Ryan was about to flip the fucking script on her reality TV show. So just recently on Life After Lockup, Gypsy's reality show, on episode 10, season 2, it has been exposed that Ryan was letting producers know on Lifetime that when Gypsy gave birth to baby Aurora, allegedly Ken's baby, Gypsy was sending Ryan pictures of the baby and glamour shots of herself and pretty much having an emotional affair with Ryan. Now, I do show recaps and I break down the shows if you guys are just tuning in for the first time, so you can check out my videos on Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup show recaps. So I'm sure Ken and Gypsy, as she's promoting on her social media pages, hey guys, Life After Lockup is coming up tonight, don't forget to watch it. She's watching it for the first time just like everyone else is, because once the video is done and before it airs, it has to go through edits and processing. So she's watching it for the first time like everyone else. So I'm pretty sure she was shitting her fucking pants when she saw Ryan exposing all the communication texts between herself and Ryan. So for those watching, it's already been going downhill for her. But it's just gotten even more chaotic that right around Mother's Day or before Mother's Day, people noticed that Gypsy Rose unfollowed Ken, her alleged baby father, on her social media pages. So then Gypsy decides to go on a live with her best friend on her best friend's live chat on TikTok, Breathe Without the Facts, and decided to go into details about what's been going on and the fact that a lot of people noticed that she unfriended Ken. And this is what she says.
Major backlash for the actions that I did postpartum. And, that is something.
Postpartum depression? Has anybody ever heard of that?
Exactly. I mean, people can say, well, it's an excuse, but I mean, it's a real thing. And I did wrong. And that's not something that I have to apologize to the public for. It's something that I have to apologize to Ken for and build that trust up between he and I.
It happens in every relationship.
Heck yeah, it does. And you see, people were like, oh, she unfollowed Ken on Mother's Day. Yep, sure I did. Well, it was the day before Mother's Day because he said something that pissed me off and I was petty. So I unfriended him, but I friended him right back. And people are like, oh my God, they broke up. No, we didn't break up.
Well, people do all the time.
Petty. People do that all the time. Like, somebody was like, yeah, I did that to my sister one time. And I'm like, yeah, people do it. It's just, you're in a petty mood. So I'm going to unfriend you on Facebook or whatever.
So let's go over some of the things that she said. She confirmed that yes, she went ahead and she unfollowed Ken because he allegedly said something that pissed her off and she was in a petty mood. For a 33-year-old woman to do this, it is very juvenile and it is also very vindictive. It is vindictive because if someone does something to hurt you, you do not go ahead and turn around and do something to hurt them back. Gypsy then says that she has gotten major backlash from a lot of the wrongdoings that she has done. And I believe she is speaking on having the emotional connection and emotional affair with her ex-husband Ryan that was on public display, between Ryan exposing this and also this being exposed on her reality TV show Life After Lockup. Now, take note, instead of taking accountability, what she does is she deflects and she blame shifts and she blames it on postpartum depression. Meanwhile, back when she was postpartum, she went on a few lives and she stated that she did not go through postpartum depression.
How am I feeling postpartum? Good. The first few days were a little overwhelming, but Ken was absolutely so supportive. I didn't have postpartum depression, but I did go through a little bit of postpartum anxiety.
So once again, Gypsy Rose is caught lying and doing something that a classic narcissist would do. Blame shift and victim playing, accusing others of betrayal or wrongdoing. She is victim playing herself that she was under postpartum depression, which we can clearly see she was lying, instead of taking accountability for the wrongdoing that she did, which in this case was having an emotional affair with her ex-husband, Ryan Anderson. Gypsy has noticed that she is in loss of control as she has been spiraling, as she has been getting exposed due to her behaviors on her show, and just Gypsy Rose being her typical sociopath, narcissistic self as a social media persona. She then also has her group of minions, aka cult members, also known as her flying monkeys, that is typical for a narcissistic individual who will surround themselves with and associate with in order to enable their behaviors. Let's be clear, postpartum depression does not cause an individual to have an affair, nor is postpartum depression an excuse for an individual to use as a vindictive excuse for their own action. Since Gypsy's charade of chaos and mess that she herself has created, it is clear that we are watching Gypsy Rose lose control. When a narcissist loses control, like online, example, gets criticized, exposed, or loses influence, it can cause what's called a narcissistic injury. Narcissistic injury is a threat to their inflated self-image. This may result in a rage or meltdown, which consists of public outbursts, aggressive posts, or emotional manipulation. They will also blame shift, accusing others of betrayal, jealousy, or wrongdoing, which Gypsy Rose has shown in her recent public apology to Ryan Anderson after her very highly publicized rage against him. And lastly, but not least, another sign of loss of control, also known as narcissistic injury, is also victim playing, which is casting themselves as misunderstood or unfairly attacked, which we all seen and heard on the previous live shown where Gypsy Rose is talking to one of her stans, discussing how postpartum depression caused her to have an emotional affair and use that as an excuse for her wrongdoing. Now, for those with NPD or narcissistic traits like Gypsy, once they have been in a whirlwind of chaos by their own doing, they often like to do what is often called as announcing a break. Gypsy Rose is no stranger to stating that she wants to take a break from social media, as she's done this before, but it did not last no more than a week. When a narcissist or an individual with NPD announces they're taking a break from the internet, it's often not about mental health. It can be a strategic move to regain sympathy, to reassert control by stepping away on their own terms, or to create mystery or scarcity, increasing attention when they return. This so-called break is often temporary and performative because a true break would be private, but narcissists might make a dramatic post about leaving, monitor reactions secretly or via burner accounts, return once attention shifts or they believe they can regain control of their narrative. Now, once said narcissist or an individual with NPD decide they come back, they may reframe themselves as they're stronger, quote, wiser, or victimize. They will often seek renewed admiration or resume behaviors often more carefully curated to avoid another loss of control. So, when a narcissist or someone with NPD says they're taking a break after losing control online, like Gypsy Rose Blanchard, it's less about genuine introspection and more about damage control, narrative reassertion, and manipulating and managing public perception. If you reached the end of this video, I want to thank you so much for tuning in and listening to my analysis of Gypsy Rose's so-called break and loss of control, also known as narcissistic injury. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Don't forget, please take care of yourself and be safe. Until next time.
That day, for no particular reason, I decided to go for a little run. So I ran to the